Hello, and welcome back to Beast Fables, a weekly show where we follow the lives of tiny animals in a massive forest. I'm Brian, and I'm going to be your narrator for today's adventure. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm the founder of Dungeons on a Dime, a publishing imprint creating entry-level tabletop role-playing game content. Today, I am joined by Atlanta, Ver, and Fraser. We're playing Adventures on a Dime, an exciting role-playing system designed to tell exciting stories with simple rules. You can see all of the character sheets available on Roll20 for free. You can literally click on someone's face, and then, oh look, it's their character sheet. It's really cute. It moves around. You can roll things, and dice appear on the screen, and then you can click on the canvas, and the dice disappear.
Thank you.
As I said, I'm joined by my friends. They're going to introduce themselves one by one. Ver, could you please kick us off?
Yes, I shall, and I shall kick us off by explaining that before this game, I begged Brian to please click on the canvas after we roll the dice, because I personally am just spiral into insanity when I see that the dice remains. So now with that out of the way, hello everybody, I am Ver. I am an illustrator and comic artist. I use they, them pronouns, and in today's game, I will be playing as Balthazar of Blueberry Pond, a courageous toad knight.
We're definitely going to need that courage with what's going to be happening this session. But for now, Atlanta, please say hello.
Hello, I am Atlanta. I use she, her pronouns. And I'm also a freelance illustratory, artisty type person, and I, as usual, will be playing Dearest Pipistrelle, intrepid little bat nonsense. And I'm very nervous about today's session. I have bad feelings all over me.
Vibes are vibing. They are not fun vibes. But the opposite of a not fun vibe is a fun vibe. Fraser, please describe your fun vibes to us.
What a good save. Hello, I'm Fraser. I'm a good vibe, apparently. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm also an illustrator and character artist. And today I'm playing Lutzen, the large, weak baby.
Oh,
Large, soft baby.
A good boy.
Did you say Lord Soft Baby?
No, large, soft baby. Never mind.
I feel like Lord Soft Baby should also
Large,
be someone.
soft baby.
Lord Soft Baby.
That's Lord.
And then
to
ladies.
you.
No, that makes it weird. Okay, moving on. We're playing on
let's just
Roll20.
distract, please. I don't want to start this fight.
We are playing on Roll20, which is a virtual tabletop. It is super easy to use. You can make accounts for free. You can get all sorts of really cool things, including Vice and Virtue, my latest role-playing subsystem zine, which is available for physical pre-order. You can also just get it on Roll20, like right now. There's decks. You can literally, the cards just show up on the screen. I can flip them, and people can see the beautiful artwork made by Jake Stark, also known as Strange Arcade. You can just look at this. It's all of the themes. We can do our reviews directly. You can see all of the tags. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, shiny and new. I love
Brian, Brian, if someone would like a physical copy of this beautiful deck, are they able to get it?
Yes! It is made with gold ink. It's beautiful and shiny. The deck and the book are only £20 and are available for pre-order from my store at doad.co.uk. And there's a limited amount of them, so get it before they're gone.
Get your dirty paws on them before we steal them.
I think I've done a bad thing. I broke it. I don't know how to help.
You've done a bad thing. Oh no!
I
What have you
drew
done?
a card and I don't know how to get rid of it. I don't know what I've done.
Oh, I'm gonna change it so that only I can mess with them, because...
Yeah, that's a good idea, because I fucked it. Oh no, there we go. I just deleted it. We're good.
No, don't worry. Hang on. This is a quick tutorial on how to... Show that to players. No. Players can draw cards. No. Save changes.
I
Bam.
want to...
Oh, it's gone.
Boo.
Don't worry, they'll be back.
Hooray!
Oh, I just realised I won't be able to see... Hang on. I need to
I
quickly
can
change
steal
my...
your card.
No way!
I'm stealing them. I don't know how... Do not!
Fortune thief.
You can do this to me.
I just realised I have to have the icons up to see my hand. If I remove the icons, they don't exist. Okay.
Oh.
Steal also. We could all steal one and run away.
Well, see, I was denied by the
Oh.
arbiter of fates that is Brian.
I love that there was a little screen came up and said, "Do you want to let someone steal your card?" And I said, "No way."
No way.
Dirty thief appears.
However,
Swat hand.
I think this joy is a little too much. I think we need to get back on track to tension, anxiety, and distress, possibly
But what
some
if we
violence.
don't want? What if we don't want to?
Am I the only one who's excited for fighting? And
You're made for fighting.
You know what? You're not wrong. I
I have, like,
So-
Some rope.
As-
That's about it.
As I scroll over these beautiful illustrations that were made last week, which I didn't see until like after the game, Ver, do you want to remind us quickly just what happened?
Alrighty. As our characters are on their way to try to recover the iron beetle stolen by Chipper the squirrel, we finally made our way to the city of Bramblefork. And upon arrival, we realized that very quickly that the town is rather run down and in some degree of disarray, as the river here has run dry, and a lot of the beaver dens that were kind of prominent in the area are quite clearly abandoned. As we walk to the rather empty streets, Pipistrel and Lutzen were looking around for any signs of the iron beetle, and Pipistrel, in fact, did notice some, what do you call it? Not paw prints, some beetle prints in the mud, ascertaining that they were probably left here a handful of days ago. And as Lutzen and Pipistrel were undergoing this investigation, Balthazar was yelling for Karod, a mole that we had a letter for. He located this Karod, not without some discontent and anger from Karod himself. And what I think is notable about this mole is that he had a red bandana, which will come back later. And apparently the mole that we got the letter from stole his share of some manner of bounty or fortune and made off with it. And the letter that we delivered made Karod very, very angry. And his reception of the letter made Balthazar pretty angry too, because he was treated rudely, and Balthazar does not stand for that. And when our little creatures all reunited, Balthazar was delighted to be truly the one who discovered the tracks in the mud, and because nobody told him about them. And as we're kind of standing there, previously Pipistrel and Lutzen were kind of discussing these tracks rather loudly, or I guess Pip was just kind of yelling about them, and they noticed that they're being watched by a shy little mouse. And they instantly grew rather suspicious of this. And by the time that Balthazar united with them, our little group was approached by a small bird. And this bird told us that, hey, you're looking for an iron beetle? Well, I know where it is. And Balthazar was delighted to hear this, and because some of his flaws include oblivious and poor foresight, he followed the bird very readily. Pipistrel and Lutzen were quite torn, as they were just kind of very aware that this is extremely suspicious. And Lutzen kind of looked back to this mouse that was previously looking out, kind of observing him. And the mouse kind of indicated that was not a very smart idea. And Lutzen decided to go confer with this mouse, as Pipistrel decided, well, she can't leave Balthazar all on his own, and followed several paces behind as Balthazar was led away around the corner by this bird. Lutzen managed to speak with this little shy mouse, and as they were talking, this kind of larger picture was drawn, and a story unraveled of what has happened in this town. That it was overtaken by a rather nasty group of people. I don't remember if they had a name or not. I will admit this. but some group of
All
beasts,
that I think was said is that they wear red bandanas and that they're from the teeth.
Yes.
Which I think
Yes,
Lutzen
yes,
intuited
that we
to
know.
mean the stone fangs, this location up here, which I am
The
currently
stone
highlighting
fangs,
on the map.
Yes. So they don't really have a name that we know of, but they have some kind of common affiliation and place of origin. I'm gonna sneeze. Hang on.
Bless you.
Oh no! But just by saying that, I made the sneeze go
no.
away. Never mind.
You.
But it was really, really close. But then it got shy. In any case, Lutzen found out that there is this group of beasts wearing red bandanas from the stone fangs, or from the teeth, and that they have kind of this actually I don't quite remember. I think they want to turn this town into a port, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Is kind of their
Yeah.
general plan. But they're kind of running it pretty heavy-handed. And among their group is very notably a ferret, which is a very large creature, very scary creature as far as little beasts are concerned, and a seagull as well. Lutzen was kind of given a list of the general kind of nay-doers who are largely in charge. And as Lutzen is given this information, and the mouse also mentioned that the people who have stayed behind are more or less kind of kept hostage because these beasts that have caused this incursion are holding on to everyone's stores of food, and with autumn around the corner, beasts are kind of apprehensive about just getting up and starting up somewhere new. So those who remain are largely feeling kind of helpless, and many of them might be prompted to help these red bandana beasts. Much like the bird, who, as Lutzen is speaking with the mouse, is leading Balthazar and Pipistrel towards a large warehouse. And the bird tells them that this warehouse is where, or storehouse, is where the beetle is. And right as Balthazar is ready to enter, Pipistrel kind of stops him and takes him to the side and tells him that this is really suspicious. And as she does this, a large figure comes out of the storehouse, a ferret, and instantly bounds up and leaps above us. Balthazar braces for an upcoming battle as Pipistrel jumps to the skies. The ferret trying to swat her as it jumps over us, but not managing to. However, as it lands, it kicks Balthazar into this warehouse, and Pipistrel, with her kind of acrobatic grace in the air, manages to evade the ferret and swoops into the warehouse after Balthazar, quite concerned for her friend. And it is in this storehouse that Balthazar gets up from the ground and is confronted with a group of beasts. I believe it is a lizard that sits at the forefront, or kind of sits in front of Balthazar. Very businesslike, kind of like a head honcho vibe is what I was getting from this lizard.
Yeah.
And there was also a beast with a crossbow. I don't remember what manner of creature it was, but there was a creature with a crossbow.
I said it was a newt, but then I drew a frog, so now it's a frog.
Oh heck, yeah. There's a frog. Oh, my noble cousin. A frog with a crossbow.
And a rat with a knife.
Yes, a rat with a knife that nobody knows where he got it from.
A knife!
And the ferret trails behind us into this building, blocking the way out. And the lizard speaks to Balthazar, as Pipistrel is not an unknown element, but she's kind of perched up on one of the beams, a little out of the ways, as the lizard addresses Balthazar in no uncertain terms, basically telling him to turn back and to turn around and go back where he came from. That he and his fellows should not be looking further into the matters that they're pursuing. Undaunted and stubborn, Balthazar says that he sees that there are many wrongs to right in this town and that he will not turn his back on it. And with that, the lizard tells its ferret associate to have at it and to end this once and for all.
And with that, we're going to move over to the little map that I prepared for today.
Oh!
No.
So,
Oh, wow.
the ferret is here blocking this doorway. These three pictures are sort of like the layers of the building, if that makes sense. So this is the ground floor, and then we've got the upper floor, and then the roof. However, it's the second floor is also serving as like a corner for Lutzen to be peering round, if that makes sense. From another warehouse, say. So we have got the ferret here, massive and blocking the main doorway in. There is a large blocked doorway that is shut over here with a little crack that maybe a small beast could slide out of. Balthazar is here. The lizard is sitting on a box in a disused pile over here. Pipistrel, you are sitting on top of a crane for lifting things up into the warehouse, and you can see the frog with a crossbow, who has just fired a shot at Balthazar, not intending to hit, but just to, make
A warning shot.
to threaten. And then we've got a rat with a knife.
I love Knife Rat.
I love Knife Rat too.
We all love Knife Rat. I want a band called Rat Knife.
I was gonna say it's like Mouse Rat from
Yeah, I
Parks
also
and
makes me
Rec.
think of Mouse Rat.
Mouse Rat.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So,
I'm scared.
everything
Legit.
is at a standstill right now. So, we need to draw a new scene.
Oh, heck.
I
And
have,
the other
like,
three
no-
scenes are Balthazar dies, Pipistrel dies, Lutzen dies. Choose.
Oh my gosh.
I just
Choose
did
character
something
you
dumb.
like the
I
most.
accidentally double-clicked the chat box. I have to reload the page. Hang on.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. Technical
Ta-da!
difficulties.
It's back.
Sorry.
I just stop requesting my cards.
But we want them.
Let's steal them.
You have 3 fortunes to choose from, as soon as I find them. We have got the first fortune is how fast does a candle burn? The second fortune is weak link. And the third fortune is weighted options. So I'm going to type those out for you.
Oh my god.
So this is the Vice and Virtue whole zine. All of these are available literally on the store right now, which is cool.
But don't go and look at it just yet. Look at it after the stream.
Yeah, see it in action. So these are the fortunes you can pick from.
Oh, beans.
Lord. These, heckin' beans. This is, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like, weak link is giving me all kinds of nope vibes.
Yeah, that's
I
why I want
dunno.
to take it.
I kind of like that one.
Oh,
Which
it's
one
I
of
don't
us
know-
is the weak link?
But that's assuming it's us.
that. I suppose.
Well,
that's
yeah, it
true.
could be. It
Ooh.
could be them. Which
I do like how
imagine-
fast does a candle burn.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It does sound really intriguing.
But
fast-
that does
I
give me
like
a
the
lot of
first and
fear.
second.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, I think definitely the first or second are like they really kind of like hit me quite hard. Like that first one in particular, how fast does a candle burn? I'm like, oh.
That makes me think there's a time limit to something.
A little bit. Like how fast does the candle burn? I mean, that could be referring to anything. That could be referring to like an actual fight. That could be referring to like maybe like Chipper has been informed and is getting
fuck.
away. Like there could be so many things that could be referring to. In theory.
I think it's kind of exciting. The first
is.
one.
Yeah. Do we want to go with that?
I mean, it could.
It's between the first
yeah.
two.
Yeah, like, but what do you guys think about the weak link? Because like, it could be referring to like one of us, but there is a good point. Like it could also be referring to one of them, which is an interesting thought.
I mean, I kind of like if it's referring to one of us because that's brutal.
Brutal.
But I think I'm kind of predisposed to actually how fast does a candle burn right now. Both of them are good though.
Yeah. I think general consensus seems to be how fast does a candle burn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I scared too.
Okay, Fortune has been chosen. We are locked in. All I need to do is just need to
50 with the audience.
hang on. So I'm gonna put 2 cards down so I can get rid of them.
Oh no!
Ooh.
Wait, where'd they at? There we go. And then this is the final card. This is the Fortune. Only I can flip it.
Oh
If you could right-click it and flip it, don't.
Oh, apparently I can, so I will not.
I can.
Don't move it around.
Sorry.
Okay. So I'm gonna say.
We can move it. Sorry. That's fine.
Yeah, we can move it. That
I can take the card.
Don't.
Run away with it.
Steal it, finally.
No,
You know what? I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stick this on the map layer, which only I can get to.
No! The cruelty of it all.
I ruined it, guys. I'm sorry. I got our card privileges revoked.
Okay, so with that
terrified.
decided, how fast does a candle burn? Okay, I'm gonna say that the lizard has yelled out, "Gimme, get him!" And the ferret pounces towards you, Balthazar. Hang on.
Balthazar,
Is it alt click? Yes, there we go.
Step dodges into the ferret using his iframes. Now.
Beast
Fables,
Souls.
Roll dodge.
Is it? It would either be Beast Souls or Dark Fables, but I kind of like Dark Fables.
Dark Fables.
Dark Fables.
I like Beast Souls.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say I'm kind of
Both work.
vibing with Beast Souls. That's
Or-
awesome.
What if it was like Beast Souls : Dark Fables?
Blood Fables.
Blood Fables.
Oh my
God. Beastborn.
Beastborn!
Yeah,
oh my god,
Beastborn.
that's sick.
All of these work. Anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of Beastborn, I need you to make. It's pouncing on you. It is making a vigor roll to pin you down. Describe to me how you try to avoid hurt. You're entering a contest with this animal.
Yes. I think Balthazar wants. Actually, I think he wants to use his willpower. He's going to kind of steady himself. Once again, he kind of wants to take this one on the chin, but he wants to glare this thing down so it basically hesitates. It's like a force of will kind of thing, where it will hesitate and make a kind of not give it its all, because he's kind of bracing himself and he has the boar tooth kind of propped, so this thing is coming in for a hit and it realizes that it is leaving itself open.
Ooh.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you roll willpower.
Can I not cast? Can I tag?
You cast fireball.
I cast enlarge on
myself. Yeah.
Balthazar becomes Mud Fury.
Oh, just unexpectedly menacing. As I turn around to interface with this ferret, it's just like, oh shit. That light from the broken ceiling or broken roof gleams in Balthazar's eyes, and they're like terrifyingly golden.
Okay, I'll let you roll with advantage. So I'm gonna roll vigor. Got a 7. Got to beat a 7. Ooh.
Yeah.
You roll an 11. The ferret pounces at you, and you kind of croak menacingly, and it pulls up short just before it gets to you. Instead, its paws slam onto the ground in front of you, and you feel the shake of its size. Some of the cobblestones actually shift a little bit with such a big animal pouncing down. while you're distracted, the lizard moves forward and tries to jab you with its spear. It is trying to be cunning, so it's going to challenge you to a cunning contest. You have disadvantage because you are distracted by the ferret. Please describe to me what you're doing.
I want to use vigor for this and tag my taking care of equipment, my beautifully taking care of armor. Will deflect this this attack because I am so vigorous and so resolute in taking care of it.
So I will let you roll a plain roll.
Straight, yeah. Okay.
Fuck!
Dang it! Sorry, I swore.
So the lizard got a critical success. That's better than expected. I'm gonna say that you've got taken great care of your armor, but it isn't the armor that the lizard's spear goes for. The lizard is smart and actually jabs his wicked sharp like metal tip through the like the padded chink in your armor and actually stabs kind of like underneath your armpit. You take a vigor damage.
Oh no, baby boy!
All right, down to
That's
D6.
kind of smart.
Oh, that's what a cheap shot.
Pipistrel, Lutzen, what are you doing? Who's going to try something next? I'm going to say that, like, this is kind of like a give and take. There's no, like, round order. It's just sort of things happen as they happen.
When will Balthazar get to just do something?
Well, anyone can suggest an action. And we'll go from there.
I have an idea for what Balthazar can do.
I feel Balthazar's in the heat of it right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
Well,
Watson's
why
waiting,
not?
like, you can't
Why
see
not
him.
everyone suggest what they're going to do and we'll resolve it in the order that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's a good idea. I feel like Pipistrel is, she's still hanging on to this crane, but she is now obviously like watching the battle from above and is like in like
It is a flurry of action, very
she's
quick.
Like, oh my goodness! Oh my whiskers! What do I do? So she's she's. I don't think she can do. She's aware that she's like she can't really do anything from up here. But what she can do though is she is going to try and get that crossbow away from that frog, because if anything is going to cause more ruckus, it's an extra beast up in the rafters shooting crossbow bolts down at Balthazar.
Thank you. Yeah.
So like,
So
I think,
you describe to me what your plan of action to get the crossbow is.
So, I think Pip is going to, because she has like a vantage point right now. So she's hanging from this crane, and she is agile. That's one thing that she really has in her wheelhouse. She is a little agile beast. So she is going to try and from the crane propel herself forward as vigorously and as quickly as possible, and just pile drive herself into the frog to try and dislodge the crossbow from its grip, and then like kick it away or throw it out of the roof if there's like a hole in the rafters.
Okay. This is sounding like it's a vigor check to me. It is.
Vigor is bad.
You are swinging down and just trying to use like physical force to maneuver this. That sounds like vigor to me.
Can I tag my can I tag one of my new skills from my new job?
Yes.
Can I tag wall climber? So she may have had to come up here in a bit of a panic, but she is getting much better now. Her grip strength is improving with the repairing of her wing. And she's getting back into that sort of, that starting off from a really strong place. Even though she's hanging onto a crane, she's coming from a good vantage point where she should be able to kick off with a decent amount of force.
Okay, I think that makes a lot of sense. So I the frog is feeling really cocky. It's going to make a willpower check in response, and what it's going to do is it's just going to aim the crossbow at you and shoot.
Oh no!
So make your roll with advantage. So a 6, a 5, and a 4. I'm gonna say you swoop down, and the frog just like points the crossbow up and shoots a bolt. It was a very narrow margin, so I'm gonna say something bad happens. No. What would you like to happen? Would you like a consequence in the narrative to happen. Would you like to take damage, or would you like to lose an item?
Oh, I'm not losing another weapon.
Or do you want to lose a friend?
Oh, Ver, don't do that to me. Oh God, I'll take a damage.
You can take damage in any stat. Tell me which one, and I'll describe what happens.
I'm gonna take a willpower damage from that because I think she was so confident that she was gonna
the bolt doesn't actually hit you, it flies underneath you, but the fact that this frog fired a crossbow bolt, and if you hadn't wheeled out of the way, you could be dead right now. You are suddenly, like, the reality of the situation really dawns on you. You kind of like flap back into the middle of the room, and the frog immediately starts winching the crossbow bolt up for another attack. Balthazar, was there something you wanted to do?
Yes. I looked up the sizes of a common lizard and a common toad.
Oh no.
As this lizard has kind of thrust the spear forward, this is something that Mud Furies do in combat against smaller beasts. Balthazar is going to grab this spear, yank it forward with this lizard on it, open his maw, and fucking engulf it.
Oh my god.
Like,
so,
body.
I don't think you can fully eat the lizard. You are a small toad. This is
No, I wanna eat like its upper half into my mouth.
Like you could maybe like fit like the head and an arm. Like you're a small toad, but like you're gonna try. You're gonna try.
Like grappling.
Okay.
Amazing.
I want to grapple.
Oh, if only Balthazar had teeth.
Oh, this lizard would be done for. But the thing is, like, when
let's
you
offer prosthetics.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Just weapons in my mouth.
Prosthetic grill.
So I'm gonna say, where'd I stick this lizard? Oh, I keep closing the windows because I'm dumb. So this lizard is completely shocked. I want you to make a. Now, I think this is the most interesting thing. I want you to make a cunning roll. You have advantage because I presume you're tagging like aspiring Mud Fury because you're trying to be
this one.
subvertive. However, the lizard is going to roll its vigor because it's surprised.
Ooh.
It just was not expecting this. So the lizard has rolled. Oh! I want you to roll purely for the joke that if you got two hijinks, that'd be funny. But
Oh my goodness!
like this is narratively it makes sense. The lizard is pulled over, and you now have it's kind of like this is like his yelp of like ah! And you kind of and you now have
like it's
yeah.
front, like, the head and, like, the arm and stuff, so it can't navigate with that spear very well, and I'm just like, because I didn't mean to say that I'm gonna eat the whole thing, because I'm incapable of that. But as part of that, just as part of the aspiring Mud Fury thing, I also think I'd like to kind of, in this moment, say that it's been a few weeks since Balthazar set out, and he's a young toad, and he's fast-growing. And maybe he realizes he's actually a little bigger than when he started this out.
He's a growing boy.
He is a growing boy, and now he has this lizard sticking out of his mouth. And I just imagine it's like tail and little legs and like body kind of like noodling around. And I hope that this is gonna freak the ferret out.
I hope so.
Okay. So I'm gonna say you deal willpower damage to both of them. It's terrifying because the ferret is like, I've never seen a toad eat anything before. And you're eating my boss. And the lizard is like, I am being eaten. This is not an experience that I necessarily enjoy.
Being consumed.
Get
Okay.
Oh god!
Lutzen, what are you doing?
I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna try and like work my. I can't see in right now, can I? I'm just hearing all the stuff going on.
All you could hear is like, poke, ow.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna like scurry around.
I'm gonna say you actually see a bolt burst out of the wooden ceiling, like it pings out and arcs off into the distance.
Okay, Lussen's going to scurry around. I don't know which direction he was coming from, but we'll kind of continue on that trajectory round to just find an entrance to see in. He just needs to see what's going on. Like, he's no idea what's going on. He hasn't seen any of these people, figures, characters, any of them. Doesn't know where his friends are. Assumes they're in here, but isn't too sure.
So you scurry up and you see through the doors, which are closed on the image but are open, and you see all of the chaos unfolding. You arrive just in time to see Balthazar start to eat a lizard.
I think Lutsen kind of stumbles back a bit and he's just like, oh shit.
Didn't you know that we're predators?
Oh my gosh, I actually cannot think of a single thing to do right now.
I'm gonna move on then.
The
rat.
Lutsen's just taken aback right now. Like he doesn't see any there's no immediate reaction. Like he just doesn't know what to do.
The rat with a knife only has one arm, so it puts the knife in its teeth and then scrambles along the edge of the upper kind of like storage walkway up onto the crane and tries to jump onto you, Pipistrel.
Bastard!
Absolutely not. Not having that.
Is this why it only has one arm?
The
jumping off things.
well, the rat has got like the knife in its mouth and is jumping at you, Pipistrel, and it's just sort of like letting out this war squeak. There is blood fury in its eyes. What do you do?
I think kind of she will have sort of readjusted herself in the air. But I mean, she is a bat. She is a long-eared brown bat. She is like 2/5 ear. So like if she heard the rat scurrying across the wood, which I'm kind of hoping that she would have. I hope she has and I'll tag my staying alert for this because this is what she has been trained for. She's gonna try and tumble out of the air, like further down away from the rat, and she's just gonna try and let the rat like leap off the crane, just off,
and then fall onto the ground.
And then
okay, so I'll let you.
The barn.
That sounds like cunning to me. So I'm gonna let you make cunning at advantage.
Thank you. Oh
You're
no!
gonna beat an 8.
Oh no! I got a success. But it's only a 5.
The rat leaps off of the walkway, and then just like backpacks onto you, and the weight is too much. You crash down to the first floor. You take, I'm gonna say this sounds like a vigor damage because it's physical. Because it's about like your routine and your ability to do actions. So it's a vigor damage as it sort of like smashes you into the ground with its sheer weight, because rats are much larger and heavier in mass than bats.
Than bats are. Yeah, absolutely. Damn.
And right now the bat is, or like you are pinned by this rat. I'm gonna say, Lutsen, you see this. Like, you're looking around, you're like, oh god, I don't know what's going on. And then you kind of see just crash down from the darkness of the ceiling through a light beam, a rat with a knife on top of Pipistrel, screaming. I mean, I think both of them are screaming.
Lutsen's eyes just go wide. He's just like, what the fuck?
What is happening?
Oh my goodness. I think Lutsen's gonna, like, in a panic, take out his like bag of fixings that he has, and I think like seeing that, like, he's gonna throw them at the, like, on the ground near the ferret as like a bunch of like caltrops.
Yeah, like caltrops, like sharp things that you step on and not fun.
Yes,
okay.
as like a kind
so
of
you
trap.
throw them down. I'm gonna bear that in mind. You throw them down as the ferret starts to, having recovered from this initial shock of seeing its lizard friend be eaten, tries to smack you, Balthazar, to get you to throw up the lizard. This sounds...
Well,
it's just trying to bat you.
Lutsen's kind of like running in doing this and like kind of grabbing his pitchfork, seeing Pip getting pummeled down, and he's kind of like running in to kind of get into the fray. Yeah, so he's in and about with his wee pitchfork that he picked up recently.
Okay.
Thank God.
So, Balthazar, this ferret is trying to bat you. What do you do?
I will, oh god, this would be a cunning if I wanted to position myself so so it hits the lizard, but that's a cunning thing. So I think I will once again just use willpower, or I would like to use willpower, where Balthazar just like just looks over it and he just looks insane, like he looks mad as in like
Unhinged.
just unhinged. And the way that he's like, I just want the once again the ferret, because the ferret has hesitated once, and I want it to hesitate again because I think it might, like, that Balthazar might be just unhinged enough to just, I don't know, continue swallowing this lizard. Like, I just want it to be too scared.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that's a willpower check from you, and it's going to make a willpower check as well.
And I have a desired for my desired job, I have a new skill that I came up with that I would like to tag in this situation. I only came up with it after the last time, but I want to tag a new skill called Never Underestimate a Toad.
Oh.
Okay, so you don't get...
As I'm learning. I don't get anything.
Yeah.
But,
so, I'll make a note that you're learning this skill. And yes, okay. So make your willpower roll, but I don't think it's going to be very difficult.
I don't know. Oof, okay.
An 11 does beat a 2. You're just sort of like swaying, well, not swaying, but like you spin round and the legs sort of like on a rag doll, if that makes sense, on like a character, sort of like spin and then jiggle back and forth with this lizard, and you're like, ah, and kind of around the lizard, you're like, I'll eat your boss and I'll eat you too. And the ferret is just so shocked because normally creatures are afraid of it. It backs up onto the spikes, and I'm gonna say it takes vigor damage. Because it's kind of walking on these caltrops, and then it's got like screws and barbs and bits of coiled metal getting caught up in its paws. Also, I want you to say, Lutzen, that you have used your bag of fixings. So I want you to remove that from your tools. At this time, Pipistrel, there is a rat on top of you, and it is now got its knife in one arm, and sitting on you is trying to stab you.
Oh my god! Okay, what do I have? Okay, so am I lying on my front or on my back?
I'm gonna roll a d4, and if it's a 1 or a 2, it's your front, and if it's a 3 or 4, it's your back.
Okay.
You're back.
Right, I'm lying on my back. In that case, this is... okay, this is Pipistrel self-defense 101. She has tucked her wings in to try and protect them as much as she can, and she has got like, you know, she got them back claws. Like, they are long, they are thin, they are very sharp. She is just she's going straight for eyes. She's claws in eyes. Your back claws wouldn't get the eyes?
No,
her front claws. Sorry, the ones.
Oh,
ones
okay.
that are
Oh,
on
yeah.
Her wings. So what she's done basically is she's tucked her wings in. She's will folded them in as close as she can. Like, obviously the ones like when she stretches her arms, there will be the part like under her armpit basically that will be exposed. But like the main body of her wing.
Like a mantis, a praying mantis.
Yeah, like she's tucked that in as much as possible. So she is just gonna go with her front, with her like her arm claws, her little fingers. She's just gonna go she's gonna go straight for the face. Is gonna scratch. She's gonna claw. She's gonna try and poke the rat's eyes as much as she can with as much force as she can.
Sort of like this little doodle.
Wait, which one?
On the building, the second floor.
Oh yes, basically. It's like, I hope you like having eyes, motherfucker.
So this sounds like it's going to be a cunning check, because you are trying to rely on training. Well, actually, this sounds like a vigor roll.
I'm just trying to think if there's anything I can possibly...
Is there something you could manipulate to make this more like a cunning check? So cunning is using your environment, being aware of your surroundings, coming up with cunning plans. Vigor is routine, training, and endurance.
In that case, I'm going to... As she was falling out of the air, because she is a very observational creature. You know, so as she was falling, I imagine that she was trying to orientate herself as best as she possibly could, even if it was just for like half a second, getting a lay of like the ground floor basically as she was falling to it. And if she's landed on her back, she will have had just a breath, a second, just to quickly take in her surroundings. So she's like, and this is part of her job as like a meddler. Is one of her skills is orientate. So she is quite good at like in a pinch having to quickly reorganize her thoughts and her body in space to be able to like dodge and weave away from things. So
I feel like it's a bit of a stretch because it's something that's happened, but I'll let you make cunning as a straight roll.
Oh, thank you. Please. Yes!
Ooh.
Oh, what a time for a crit success! Oh,
You
those eyes!
jab upwards and deal 1 vigor damage to the rat, and it falls
Yay.
off of your back.
Hooray.
It stumbles back. You spring up onto like all fours, so to speak, and look. You haven't gouged the rat's eyes out, but you have jabbed it painfully in like the snout. And there's like a streak of blood from like a scratch near one of its eyes. It's like, ah, and it's kind of like rubbing at the blood out of its eyes with its one arm. It turns and kind of really takes in the scene, looks at Balthazar and goes, "Boss!" And as that happens, Lutzen, what are you doing?
I think Lutzen was like kind of in mid-run towards going in towards Pip to kind of help out there. I think he's going to run forward to the other rat and try and like pin it with the pitchfork.
Ooh.
And just like keep it like push up against it and just keep it up against the wall to
Get
kind of let Pip
away.
get away.
Yes.
Okay, so
smart.
that sounds like it's going to be a vigor roll from you. Is there anything you want to tag?
Can I use from my new job, the prosthetic engineer? Can I tag anatomical observation to find the squishy spots?
I feel like as a rat, you would especially know the squishy spots of other rats.
Exactly.
The rat is going to try and dodge out of the way. It's going to roll through the trash to try and like scurry and scatter and distract you. So you charge forwards towards the rat. I want you to make a vigor roll with advantage for me.
Okay. 5.
Whoa!
That is a critical success. I'm gonna say you charge forward with the pitchfork, and as pitchforks do, you hoist and pin the rat to this sort of like wall here with the pitchfork. It is impaled on the pitchfork.
Jesus.
Oh no!
I mean, that's what you say you want to do.
I mean, yeah, but like I think Watson just doesn't realize like his kind of eyes go wide. It was just like a second of rage. It was just like ah.
Oh,
And
wow.
I rolled a d4, but it doesn't matter because they are in NPC. When you deal damage to an NPC and they have a d4, they just are removed from the story. And in this case, you just impale the rat.
God!
It is dying. You like spear through the guts.
Oh my god!
You have the leverage. Hang on, I'm just moving you into the right place. You have like the leverage of this rat, and it sort of like coughs blood out of its mouth and drops the knife and is like twitching.
Nice rat! I know it's a bastard, but it's so cute.
Oh wow! Rest in peace, knife rat. Good lord!
Well, since like he just like I think he just drops the pitchfork and he just kind of takes a step back as like realizing what he did.
kind of like
he ran in blind, just pointing.
You go
at
to
him,
drop-
hoping for the best.
You go to drop the pitchfork, but it actually catches on a cobblestone and is sort of like braced. So the rat is just sort of like pinned against the wall.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, it's
like-
going anywhere.
Yeah, it's not. They're not going anywhere. At this point, you hear a clunk from above. The frog, who can't see what's happened to the rat, is going to try and shoot you, Balthazar, because you have got their boss swallowed.
Well, maybe they should just stop attacking me, and I'll stop eating their boss.
I want you to make describe how you are avoiding harm from a crossbow bolt.
Hang I think Balthazar. Because they have sting slingers among the not knights, so he knows like long range combat. You know, he's ready for it. Oh god, because it would be cunning. It would be cunning to like move behind this crate or something. Fuck. But I don't want to do that. I want to game this. I think I will once again just try to rely on my armor.
In your routine.
This guy doesn't. Yeah, in my routine.
I'm gonna say either the frog rolls with advantage or you roll with disadvantage. Which one do you want?
I'll
because
roll with disadvantage.
The frog has like.
Anything, or...
I'm gonna say
I would tag my Undaunted just because this didn't work before, but he still believes in it.
Well, I'd say yeah, you can tag it. I don't think you used it before in like this instance because you used your care of armor and that was like a use.
Yeah,
so
I used
I'd say
equipment and menacing and mud fury, but I didn't use Undaunted yet.
So it's gonna roll cunning. You get to roll vigor.
Oh god, my vigor is a d6 now. Oh!
I'm gonna say that you are actually turned away from the frog, and you just feel like this conk, and there's this like pong, cling, 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 as like the bolt of the crossbow slaps into your breastplate, leaves a dent, but sort of like skitters off across the cobblestones. It hits your armor, but your armor is so well taken care of that you are protected from harm.
Ooh.
And you sort of like turn and look over your shoulder at this frog with its boss still kind of like half swallowed.
Yeah.
God.
It's wriggling.
What image?
Oh god, can I do something?
Yeah.
So, because I've been wanting to do this ever since I've had this lizard in my mouth, because I imagine if he puffs out his frog, whatever, or not frog, his toad like singing pouch or whatever, he can use this lizard as a projectile.
Okay,
yes!
Go for it. Yes.
And I would like to once again, for my desired job, just tag never underestimate a toad a second time, because it's just like, what? They can shoot things out of their mouths? The answer is yes. Get ready for a lizard missile. And I think as just a power move, I want to launch the lizard into this stupid frog.
Ooh.
So it is quite high up. That is going to be a vigor check at disadvantage if you want to try and throw it at the frog.
Okay, actually, because I think I was imagining it. Yeah, that is like, and it's...
Because, like, it's a whole story. It's like...
No, I'm gonna turn around and just launch the lizard into the ferret, just to really, really give this ferret some psychic damage.
Okay. That's just a vigor roll for you.
Yeah.
This is such a
because it's like on the horizontal, or the vertical as opposed to the horizontal. The ferret, hang on, where's that ferret at? Is going to match your vigor check with its own vigor check. They are rolling really badly today.
Yes.
That was on a d12.
Wow.
And you sort of like, it doesn't expect what's happening, and you sort of launch the lizard at it. And the lizard sort of smacks it in the face, which isn't painful, but the claws of the lizard scrabbling, having just been launched by you, are, and it takes vigor damage. The lizard scrabbles, the ferret, seemingly too afraid to currently attack or do anything, allows the lizard to climb onto its, like, neck head back, as if it's riding it.
Oh my god.
And that's kind of what's happened there.
Yeah.
Pipistrel.
Just after, because Balthazar kind of like, he puffs out that toad. I don't know what it's called. I don't remember. Sing pouch. The pouch where you keep your songs.
I would like to say, actually. So I'm gonna say, you are learning a skill. This is not a skill that you know. So you vomit up. You kind of like you throw out this toad, and actually you kind of like regurgitate a little bit of like your breakfast as well.
No,
and you're like,
in my stomach. No, it's the equivalent of like going like if I had water in my mouth and going with the water.
But
to
this is what I mean. Like, you stress the wrong parts. You don't take any harm. This is just sort of like, you can't do something cool after this because you did something cool. Because you're learning how to do this properly.
I don't want to do anything cool. I just want to speak to my friends. I just want him to, after like puffing out the pouch and spitting this thing out as a missile, I just want him to turn around to see Lutzen impaling this poor rat and Pipistrel. And he's just going to shout out, the enemy is broken! Let's go! And he's gonna start moving towards this door because he doesn't want to, like, like, he's not here to fight to the death with these guys. He just wants to get out of here because these guys are assholes. And
yeah.
Also, I don't think he doesn't feasibly think he can actually kill the ferret as easily with everybody fighting here. So he just wants to. He thinks we should move
He wants
out.
to get out.
I
Okay, so
I think Pipistrel's definitely feeling the same because I think while like she kicked the rat off her, like she would have then watched Ludson impale the rat. So she's like, "Wow, it is time to go." But I want the crossbow.
If you want the crossbow, you can stay here. Balthazar doesn't want to be here.
That's fair. Wilson's just taking following the lead at this point, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Well, that's what you want to do. What happens is you say you kind of regurgitate a little bit too much because you're flexing muscles you've never used before in this sense, and you really exerted yourself to throw a whole lizard. You're used to kind of like swallowing things in, not spitting them out, if that makes sense. You sort of you go, the enemy is broken. We gotta go.
Sorry, I just get really grossed out by vomit, so that's why I'm really unhappy here.
Okay, so we will move on quickly from that. So you sort of say, we've got to go. You don't get to make it to the door. Pipistrel and Lutzen, what are you doing?
I think Pip is going to. I think she's just gonna do the only thing that makes sense to her because she's looking at Lutzen, who is obviously probably quite shell shocked right now. She's just gonna do her little bat screech to get his attention and say, Lutzen, it's time to go! Gesture to the door, and she's gonna prepare to take off and try and.
I mean, you can just take off if you want.
Well, I think she's gonna take off. She's not gonna fly to the door yet. She wants to see because obviously her other two friends are ground bound. She's not just about to fly out the door and leave them. So she wants to see what's gonna happen to the other two first.
Okay. So you are readying yourself to do something in reaction.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna say, Lutzen, what do you want to do? And while you are doing it, you're hearing the of the toad loading up the crossbow again.
I think Lutzen, he kind of gets snapped out of the stupor from Pip's kind of screech, looks up and sees the crossbow, and looks at what he's just done to this poor rat, and I think he just says "I'm sorry, brother," and will run off.
Oh no! Oh, that's so sad. Oh!
I don't know why you're all here, but I'm sorry. And he's just gonna escape, just rush out, just scamper out.
Okay. You run out the door. The ferret and lizard don't necessarily do anything, so you scamper out the door. Balthazar, Pipistrel, what are you doing next? The lizard has righted themselves on the ferret and seems to be sort of scraping toad spit out of their eyes, and sort of locks eyes, looks around, and is kind of holding onto the ferret, and it feels like it's at a standstill again.
Oh.
They're kind of waiting for you guys to do something, and they'll react.
Balthazar wouldn't move before, after telling everyone to leave. He's not going to be the first one to leave. He's going to wait until everyone else leaves.
I think if Pip has watched Ludson run out the door, or sort of run sort of, because I imagine what Ludson did was he would have said, "I'm sorry, brother," which is heartbreaking. Dropped to all fours and then obviously run rat-like out the door. I think Pip, is going to do the same. She's going to fly towards the door, but she's not going to leave. She's gonna sit but right outside the door. She's gonna flap outside the door just to make sure that Balthazar follows them out.
So you flap to sort of like here, and you're sort of like hovering in the air near the stairs.
Yeah, basically, right there.
Mm-hmm.
She's still airborne, though.
I am gonna say that as you fly out, the frog, who still hasn't seen that their friend is dead, is just going to try and shoot another bolt at you, Balthazar, because you're the only one they can really kind of get an angle at. So it's going to make another cunning roll, because it has advantage on you. Or not advantage, but a vantage point.
A vantage.
Yes, a vantage.
Yes.
One vantage. What are you going to try and do to avoid harm?
I think I want to exert my willpower again. I would like to tag my disarming honesty for this. Disarming? Because Balthazar is aware of that thing, because I shot at him already once before, and, you know, the was happening, and I want him to look up at this dang frog, and, address it, like, regardless if it will shoot or not. He wants to kind of shake it, or shake its resolve, he will just look at it and say, we're done here, cousin.
Ooh.
Okay, I don't think this is a contest. I want you to make a willpower roll for me.
I will be straight up. If I in some way fail this one, I will be tagging my auto success.
Okay.
Fair.
You do as well as you can. I'm gonna say the toad has the crossbow braced,
Frog.
but
Frog.
doesn't. Frog. Sorry, frog. They were a toad all along. Betrayal.
No!
The frog has the crossbow braced, and they have their legs bowed to like absorb the back kick, but they don't loose. They just have it aimed at you.
Ooh.
Balthazar will, like, I don't know, I guess I'll call him a badass. He will just start walking towards the exit as he looks from the frog, and he's gonna look over at this cowed ferret and this lizard, just like being on, not on edge, as in like he's just very much like aware of them, and he's just like walking out, not relaxed, but also he's not running out. He is just like, we're done here.
Like, stay in your lane, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Balthazar is just a low-key, high-key, badass. I love it.
Okay, so you walk out. There is like a tense. What do you guys do? Do you just leave? Do you run? Do you walk? What happens?
Balthazar, he walks out. He's gonna look at Lutzen and look at Pipistrel and say, we have some tracks to follow. Isn't that correct? And is gonna start walking back towards that riverbed where we saw the tracks.
I think Lutzen's kind of up against the wall, like hyperventilating a bit. He just like shook.
Mm-hmm.
He's just kind of like standing, like paws up against either side of the wall, just like taking deep breaths. Yeah. And we'll just kind of follow along with Balthazar behind.
I think Pip is going to take, while she's in the air, like, she's not an intimidating creature. She doesn't have the intimidation factor that Balthazar does, but she's going to look back at the lizard, and she is like, God, how do I put this? She is going to like narrow her eyes and like, you know, like give him a look like, just leave it. Don't follow us. Leave it. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of just, you know, we are done here. Like final thing. And she's gonna stay airborne. She's gonna kind of fly off kind of overhead of Ludson and Balthazar.
Mm-hmm. So you guys leave.
We leave. That did not go at all how I was expecting.
And you make it back to the riverbank. The adrenaline starts to fade. Lutzen, I want you to mark the pitchfork off of your character sheet. You never took it back.
he
For
just laughed
obvious
at.
reasons.
Yeah, I considered like taking it back out, but I was like, nah, that's grim.
Oh my god, that would have been an absolute bloodbath.
I'm gonna grab the card
Oh!
back to my hand so we can move back to our main screen.
Oh my god.
Whoosh! Alright. Hang on, I'm gonna get on the right layer.
That was horrible.
You make your way back to the riverbank. And the dried tracks. You notice standing on one of the roofs of the buildings, the little... I don't remember what bird I called it. I think I called it a...
Plover.
A plover, yeah. The plover is just sort of like meekly looking at you from a couple rooftops away. It seems to have darted away when the fighting started.
Oh dear.
Can I call out to it?
Yeah, what do you say?
Might as well don one of those red neckerchiefs, you. If you're going to be working with these vermin, you are just as good as them.
Ooh, vermin.
The plover flits away.
Sorry.
Gosh.
There's pissed.
Zinger.
Like,
Zinger,
you get the
though.
strong vibe. They're like, vibe check, strong vibe, shame.
Ooh, oh no. Well done. Roll for shame.
Mm-hmm. For shame.
For shame.
Should have tagged my never underestimated Toad a third time for that one. I'm
Well, I don't know. I don't think they were
also
underestimating you.
fiend-shaped.
Fiend-shaped.
T-shaped. I love it. I love it.
Shaped.
I can be your friend or your fiend.
Well, actually, could I... Oh, no, do I have to... So when we're making new skills for a new desired job, do I have to fill up the first one before I can try to make a new one?
No, you can... I'm finishing the rules, so I'll be able to let you guys know later, but you can do as many skills as you want simultaneously. The character sheet will get updated on Roll20 so that it will all reflect these changes when I finish the rules. So you can train as many as you want.
Tag righteous?
Ooh.
So I'm going to say no, because this isn't a skill check.
Oh, it's
So
not
you
a
can
skill check.
you can
Okay,
write
but I
down
will
righteous
write
to remind
righteous.
yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, and what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to go to your character sheet and into your notes. I'm just going to say, new skill, Toad. Never underestimate Toad.
I have it in desired job, and I have never underestimated Toad 2 out of 3, and righteous 0 out of 3.
Well, I'm writing this into your character sheet notes, not the character, as in like the Roll20 document. So that way, if the character sheet information gets lost when we change the character sheet up,
gotcha.
it's not lost forever. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. But yes, you can start like thinking about trying to train righteousness, but that's something you have to. It has to be like in the moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh. Oh
That was
dear.
That's the first, like... What is that? Like, the first, like, out-and-out actual, like... actual violent bloodshedding action I think we've actually had in this game. My goodness.
Yeah.
We will miss you, Knife Rat.
Oh, Knife Rat.
I feel so bad. It feels so
Pepperonis,
bad.
rat.
So,
Yeah.
I feel to help ease player regret, I would like to say that given the chance, these animals would have killed you. They gave you the
for
chance
sure.
to run. They were not fun. They were not fun people.
I imagine like lots of them was running in. Obviously, Fraser the player was running in to just like get rid of this rat however best possible, really. But like lots of them was just running in, kind of like screaming, eyes closed, like pointing it forwards, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Just like
Yeah, I think we all can agree that Ludson would never kill.
That you
like,
know.
Yeah, he wouldn't kill out of.
for the sake of it,
he wouldn't kill for the sake of it, like because
necessity.
yeah, exactly. Like these beasts clearly have, they're in some sort of dangerous trades, whatever they do. Well, because I mean, I'm pretty sure you said last session that ferret is branded as well.
Oh, is that really? I don't think I saw that or heard that.
Brian, didn't you say that the ferret was branded?
I didn't say it was branded, but I was in the illustration I did. It is branded.
Okay.
And yes, if I had been more aware, I probably would have redescribed the characters for your benefit as well. But the introduction was just so good from Ver, I was like, we're in it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that ferret was branded with 2 brands. Actually, I want Pipistrel. I'm going to say because you have the awareness, like that's one of your perks. I want you to make a cunning roll for me, just a straight cunning roll that you wouldn't normally get to have made if you didn't have the perk. 7.
Okay.
The brands, one of them is from Odoak. It is an Odoak General Council brand.
Ooh.
And another is from the Orbeaters.
And for the benefit of people listening, the brands are...
So, Beast Fables...
Strayed animal.
So,
markings of like exile almost.
Yeah.
In the Bristley Woods, there are no prisons. The harshest punishment you can get, or the second harshest punishment, is, as opposed to what we would call a life sentence, a community can just exile you, and they do this by branding you. It's one of the ways of... it's cruel, and it is essentially kind of like a capital justice. It's you are branded by a guild or a society, and that means that anyone who sees you, who recognizes the crest, first of all, who recognizes that you've been branded, knows that a community exiled you and wants no one to work with you ever again. And if you recognize the crest, in theory, this guild will also associate, like, they will not work with you by association if you work with this branded individual. The only other penalty that's worse than branding is death, and that is something that is exclusively handled by the Tanners.
Yes.
Tanners.
Well,
hey,
almost
I know
exclusively.
they're like really, like, it's pretty serious, but I just love the Tanners because they're kind of badasses.
Oh,
They're very cool. But I think because when we were doing a lot of like the building of like how does law and order essentially work in Beast Fables, we decided that like death is so prevalent because animals, like, death isn't actually the worst thing that can happen to animals. Being basically strayed, being told like, we don't want you, no other beasts will want you, you're not part of our communities, when animals are very social, is like, that's almost the worst thing that you can have done to you as a beast, is to be
now
ostracized.
A positive, not a positive, but a side of the system that does exist is unbranding, where a more complex brand is placed over the original, sort of like a postmark, if that makes sense, that shows that you have reformed.
Yes.
So you will always have the visual stigma of someone looking at you going, oh, they've been branded. But then on closer inspection, if you're a trusted reformed member of a community, then you are unbranded. It's not perfect, and there are their own social issues with that I would like to explore at some point later in the future. I think it could be really fun.
There was when Fraser and I did a scurry, I was playing as a pine marten called Dodger. And the way that I had written Dodger is that he was one of these reformed beasts. He had been branded previously, he was made stray, but because he had reformed himself and was now just a humble maker of jam and preservatives, he had been redeem branded basically. And it, like his brand was on his leg. So
they tend to be in very visible spaces.
Yes.
But with this ferret, we can presume that because of where we met it and how we met it, it was probably not on its way to wanting to live a different life.
Also been branded twice and not rebranded with the redemption brands. So like
branded twice by different organizations. So that's a strong sign that it is a known troublemaker.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, you make your way back to the riverbank. You have shamed the plover who lured you into this trap. And I'm going to say I would like someone to make a cunning roll for me to determine how fast you're able to follow these tracks, because I assume you will be able to. This is just a kind of a speed thing.
Not me.
I was going to say, I don't think it would be Lutzen. I feel he's a bit distracted. So it's probably Pip.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Pip is still in the air right now, so she's probably recentering herself after that quite stressful ordeal and is like, focused on the job. Let's keep going. Can I... As we're doing this, would I be able to tag one of my new jobs just so I can learn it? Can I tag my novice tracker, which is part of my new scout job?
I would say yes. So I'm going to make that note on your character sheet.
Thank you.
I would say it would not be, the skill wouldn't be novice tracker, it would just be tracking. So that's what I'm going to
Tracking,
write it
okay.
as.
That's fine. Okay.
Because they're very like verb orientated. Like the job might be novice tracker.
Okay. I will just change that
yes.
to...
New
Hooray.
skill. Following tracks. 1 out of 3.
Yeah.
Save changes. You rolled a
I got a 6.
6, and I'm going to click on the screen to get rid of the dice. You are able to follow the tracks fairly easy, actually. Mostly because it seems like I'm going to go back up to the larger map that we'll be using. I'm just going to click here so everyone's looking at it. You originally thought from the journal and kind of the description that our friendly, I think it was like a blue tit knight or like a grey tit. Cold tit, that was it.
Cold tit, yeah.
The Cold Tit Knight that you sent to Blueberry Pond, who you first met at Willowmoot. The Cold Tit said that there was a hideout that Chip will be going to, which is this triangle marked on the map, and that's where you were originally going. But the tracks don't go or seem to make any kind of movement in this sort of direction. I'm just going to use this tool. It's not like they try to go a little bit this way and then to divert you to a trail or to mislead. They solidly go towards Lallas Dock.
I think because Pip is the one who's kind of observing all of this, she would sort of come and land sort of next to Balthazar and Ludson, and kind of relay this information that like the tracks aren't going exactly where we thought, and isn't that a bit odd? I think she'll sort of want their like opinion on what they should do.
But I imagine
I'm gonna say you guys as a role-playing opportunity as well. If you want to, you could like head out of Bramble Fork, and if you wanted to, and maybe like find a quiet spot to take a breather.
I think when Pipistrells land and she sort of relayed the information, like the tracks aren't going exactly where we thought. I think she kind of like, particularly looking at Ludson, I think she'd say, I think maybe we should go and just rest a while. What do you think?
I like that idea.
And she looked at Balthazar as well.
Balthazar lifts a hand up to that parting in his padding where the lizard stabbed him, and he kind of like pats it. There's just blood on his head, and he says, "Yes, I think that might do me well."
So you make your way out of Bramble Fork, maybe 10 or 15 minutes on foot, and you find a little sort of like clearing hollow, if that makes sense. There's sort of like a nook between some stones, an old log that's partially hollowed out by beetles, and is close but not on the river. There's sort of like a little pool that sort of eddies off from the river, maybe, let's say like here-ish. Hang on.
Okay.
Clicky. Like here-ish. So it's a little ways out of Bramble Fork.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you are able to, Balthazar, you're able to take your armor off and wash your padding and clean your wound. The water here is less silty and muddy because it's not kind of re-diverting from this underground river. It's actually quite clear and fresh, having flown. Well, not in wounds necessarily. Maybe for toads. Maybe for toads.
No, it's not. But I just like mud. Or Balthazar does. But I just wanted to say that as Balthazar is kind of going to the river to take off the armor and get everything cleaned out, he's going to turn to Lutzen and say, "Come, Lutzen. I think you might get some use out of this routine. Come."
You see Lutzen like very hesitantly kind of tiptoe towards the water, and he kind of like looks like kind of up and downstream a wee bit, and still obviously very visibly disturbed from the whole like, the pike situation, not enjoying that and not really trusting it, but with Balthazar.
There's like a kind of shallower, like if there's just a shallower area, like where the water kind of gets stuck in some of the sand banks.
Yeah. Like, I want Lutzen to make a willpower check for me, just a straight roll.
Okay. Oh dear, that's a complication for a 2.
Okay.
That tracks.
So, you barely managed to pull it off. It takes some coaching, coaxing and convincing from Balthazar, but there is like a shallow, flat area which is like, for us would be a puddle. For humans, it's a puddle, but for animals, it's like knee deep for a rat, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And there's no way a fish could sneak up on you in here. It's sort of like, again, it's off of the river. It's not in the river.
I think practically he's like, yeah, that makes sense. He'd kind of be okay with that.
And as Balthazar is kind of taking off the armor and the padding, I imagine because it's daytime and this is kind of like still water, it's kind of warm. Especially if the sun is bearing down.
It's actually it's like noon right now. You guys got into it really early, so it's like noon. So it's actually very refreshing and cooling to have the water there.
Ah, okay. But Balthazar kind of looks at Lutzen sort of like not expectantly, but just says, "When was the last time that you did wash those clothes of yours?"
Oh, that is a very good question. Well, the last time I scrubbed them was probably quite a while, but the last time we were, wrestling about in wet was, semi-recent.
Well, that's not really quite the same as cleaning and scrubbing. Here's a smaller stone. Here, and he's gonna give him like a flat stone, that you can like mash out.
Yeah.
Clean with. And he's gonna like lay down his padding and start showing Lutzen how to just like take care of equipment as a kind of like ritualistic thing almost. And he says, we would do this after. Well, we were taught to do this after every drill, but once we were out and about, the squires with their knights, we do this after every battle as well.
Oh, I see. And he's kind of just like very like observantly kind of following along, like copying the same motions that that Balthazar's doing with kind of like scrubbing the thing. Or he kind of takes off his wee like kind of dungarees and like the little there's a new kind of compression jacket almost, and it's kind of laid them in the water and is kind of following along in the same kind of way.
You have to. Oh.
I just want to say, I think this is where the complication comes in. You just are a little bit like numbed when you start when you take off like the dungarees and the jacket. When you actually start to scrub, you notice that there is a blooming of like red in the water from your arms, where blood from Knife Rat has matted into your fur, and you hadn't noticed.
Oh my god!
Because you've been in a bit of shock.
Yeah,
and it's simultaneously numbing, but a little bit. It's a strange feeling. You're not sure how you feel. I'm not going to tell you how your character feels.
But
I think he kind of just like realizes, kind of sees it and kind of slows down a bit and is just watching the water go a bit murky and kind of.
Yeah. As you watch the water, you notice that it gets murky and mixes with like the brown and red blooms from Balthazar's tunic, which looks a lot worse than it is. Balthazar, you're examining the cut, and it's actually not that deep. It just kind of cut you in a bleedy place, and a lot of the blood soaked into your padding. And you're used to seeing this sort of stuff. Like it looks worse than it is. So yeah, I'll let you jump in now.
So Balthazar, as he's kind of cleaning it out, and I think as this blood kind of, blooms in the water, he says, it's very strange. Initially, it's always an appalling sight. But I'm amiss to say, you do get used to it.
I'm not sure I want to get used to it.
Balthazar kind of nods.
Needs must, I guess.
Well, I don't know what it's like for, I'm actually not sure where you're from. Odok, was it? Is that where your, guild house was?
I believe so. I can't remember. Where was it? No, or was it Willamette?
No, I think you were
from
you
Odok.
can say you're from Odok. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Balthazar says, I suppose from what Pipistrel has told me, Odok is quite the safe place, but Blueberry Pond is much further out from any of these larger outposts, and I don't know how outside of everything a settlement like Odok might be, but it's usually either you or them. It's you or the boars. It's you or other behemoths. You or predators. You or vermin. Or vermin. It sounded like you said our vermin. You or... No.
Yeah.
You...
Break them down to build them up.
No. Sorry, that was just my bad enunciation.
Yeah.
And he says, but look, and as that blood is kind of blooming, it then just kind of dissolves and goes into the muck and just dissolves into the clearness.
I'm going to say there's
like
like an eddy, there's a slow eddy from the river, and it actually flows away, and clean water replaces the bloody water.
Yeah. And Balthazar will say, as upsetting as it may be, that's just how things go sometimes. You know, those beasts, they had every chance to not attack us. They had every chance to not hurt us. And yet they did. And if they could choose, they would have killed you, Lutzen.
I think he just kind of solemnly nods at this. Like, he's taking it in, and he's just, like, still kind of slowly kind of massaging the clothes with the kind of stone. But he kind of nods in acknowledgement.
And in a way, what is in bad times good news, and rather, this is both a good and a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. But the world just moves on, Lutzen. Whether it's you who dies or someone else, it just moves on. So every time you just get up, clean the padding, you polish your armor, and keep moving on.
Yeah, you're right, Balthazar. It's different. I've never had to encounter something like that before. But no, you're right. You speak the truth.
It doesn't have to be easy. It never is.
And you kind of like you see him kind of
some time to be all right with it.
Yeah, he kind of takes like a heavy kind of gulp, like a kind of swallow, and just kind of shaking his head, like, or nodding his head, and just, you know, letting those words kind of sit with him for a wee bit. And I think he kind of meets Balthazar's gaze, and he just kind of just nods and just kind of says, "Thank you." I think he'll notice that Balthazar has also kind of been just kind of gently wounded, but will offer to have a look at the armor if he can make some sort of additional. I'm just gonna say, your padding, your armor is damaged, and he'll kind of start scurrying around in the kind of surrounding plant life for kind of like, you know, thick grasses to try and maybe weave something as like a wee patch almost.
Yeah. Balthazar will say, as it does, I'd rather it get Grace than myself. I suppose if you could find some reeds so we can make a patch and maybe bang out that dent in the armor, I would be very grateful. Keep those hands busy and that mind, yes? Yes.
And he kind of like he's kind of spins around, and he's still kind of sitting in the water, almost like kind of paddling his feet and like kind of, you know, hunched over washing. We'll kind of put his clothes on the little verge, and we'll kind of scramble just around and grabbing bits of reeds that are kind of just nearby.
Well, I feel like
grasses and things.
The best way to weave natural, fresh materials is actually to keep them wet so they're supple. So you're in the water, letting yourself have a little soak and working these reeds. And then I think, Balthazar, maybe you're on the bank, like, using a rock to bash the dent out of your hammer as best you... out of your... not your hammer, your...
armor.
Words. You know what I mean. Yeah, you're bashing the dent out of your breastplate as best you can. And it's not a beautiful job. It's definitely lost a lot of its shine and curve and smooth mirrorness, but it's definitely functional again.
We need some oblivious.
I think Lutzen would probably take, like, kind of seeing the kind of scuff and would offer... I feel like he's probably dealt with armors before, Lutzen, and like metals and things, and I think he would try and lend a hand with maybe grabbing some kind of finer rocks and almost silt, bundling it up in some kind of cloth and using that as to almost like grind away like a fresh, you know, kind of like the kind of smoothing. That makes sense. You know, to kind of like buff it, polish it.
I mean, like in a mechanical sense, it doesn't make anything better, but like in a narrative sense, it's beautiful.
To make it look, just to make it look a bit nicer. We'll kind of work together.
Yeah, Balthazar very much appreciates it. And I think, like, he'll also just say, So, if you need Lutzen, as I said, you can keep those hands and that mind busy. But you also don't try to run away from the things you feel. And it's okay to think about it. It's okay to feel bad about it. And it's okay if you're not strong about it. Not everybody can, but also not everybody should be. In some way, us Knights of Blueberry Pond, we know this is ahead of us, and we're prepared to deal with these things. And we are here so others don't have to. So what I'm saying is, it's alright for these things to get to you, and I suppose some people would call it a strength to not be affected and a weakness to be, but it's okay to be sad about how unfair this world is.
Hmm.
I know sometimes you have to eke out your survival over the survivals of others at any cost.
Again, I think Lutzen's just he's sitting there and kind of just nodding along, kind of taking the words in. And he'll kind of like meet Balthazar's gaze again and just kind of, continue just listening very intently.
So
He's
I'm going to say that you both have a breather, so you can restore one of your dice up one step. So you can move, that's like a d6 to a d8.
Mm.
My finger is healed.
Lutzen gets buff in the water and goes up from a d6 to a d8 now. He hulks up in the water.
Pipistrel, are you doing anything while these two have like a kind of meditative moment by the bank? Or what is Pipistrel up to right now?
I think Pip kind of watched them walk away, and she watched them walk away sadly because I think she realized that like that was a moment for the pair of them to go and like chat. Like that Lutzen, like that Balthazar had his Balthazar wisdom to distribute, and that it's best for her to kind of keep out of it. But in any other day or at any other point, if other things had happened, she would have been like busy, like looking for bugs, looking for food, continuing to look for the tracks. But like she doesn't. She watches them walk away, and she feels sad and confused about what happened. And she thinks about that branded ferret, particularly the brand from Odok and the brand of the Orb Eaters as well. I think she sits down. Actually, no. If there's like I like to imagine that there's like if there's a small tree nearby, she does what any bat would do to feel comfort. I think she'll sort of climb up the tree and hang upside down, wrapped in her wings for a little moment, just a little moment of peace, because I think she's...
It's like the equivalent of a weighted blanket.
Yeah.
Like you have the weight of gravity pulling in a new way, or in a comforting way. Yeah. And you realize as you're hanging from this tree and you're looking around, you're kind of doing a 2-for-1. This is comfort for you, but you're also able to have a look at the surroundings to make sure if anyone's followed you or see people on the road. Yeah. And you realize you haven't hung upside down since before you left Brambledam.
Yeah, she feels like it's like one of those weird things, like when you go into a kind of a state of comfort. She thinks about home, she thinks about Odok, she thinks about her parents, and for the first time since she left to become a moon messenger and the Boar War, she actually misses home. She misses her parents, and she feels small and alone. And that's kind of overwhelming for her. And like while those two are obviously down at the river and having their very important moment, the little tears roll down from her eyes and like down her ears, obviously because she's upside down. But she has this little private moment to kind of miss and be sad, and she's so taken aback by these beasts, like how vicious they are, and how like she's definitely convinced like if they had the chance, they would have killed all of them. And she has a little moment of fear and then also gratitude that like they're all still here. We got out of that relatively really unscathed, which she thinks is incredibly lucky.
I think this is a moment for you to contemplate elsewhere.
Ooh, yeah.
You also contemplate, I feel, a little bit, if I'm allowed to say, because you can, it's your character, but your a lot of the thoughts that are crossing your mind are a balance between like the violence that these animals held, the privilege you've had in that you've not had to experience that, and the fact that you all end up at the same place one way or the other.
Yeah, I think, yeah, because this is another kind of concept that we talked about a lot when we were making Beast Fables, is how animals feel about death, and this concept of, it's not really, there's no heaven or hell or something like that, but you do have the concept of elsewhere. The animals go beyond where other animals can't reach them, and each animal has, each culture has their own sort of version of elsewhere, and for bats it can be known as, flying into the long dark, or the last trips to the cave, that kind of thing. Like for them, for bats it's a kind of, it's the extended night, it's the eternal night of endless moonlight and things like that. It's a very kind of spiritual thing, and I think Pip, while she sort of wandered, like looking at all the end of the summer, and the state of things, like the more they travel, the more she realizes, like, the Bristley Woods, like there's trouble here. There seems to be food shortages and animals missing, and like the end of the Boer War has left people or beasts in such disarray, and all the beasts that have been lost, she contemplates this idea of elsewhere. It's like, where did they go, and is it better than here? Is it better than this, what we have now? And she's sort of really, really lost in thought about it. And it's obviously quite a big concept for, she's still young as well. She's, I think in human years, she would be in like her really early 20s. If that, she might even still be like a,
well,
like
I
a
mean,
late
like,
teenager.
so we kind of scaled animals to human years.
Yeah.
So like you are in your 20s.
Yeah. But like young, like 20, 21.
Yeah.
Baby.
She's, getting acquainted with the world, finding her strength, but also realizing that the world is a very dangerous and scary place. She lived her entire life in Odok, and, under her parents, who were very sweet, but also were not keen for her to join the Moon Messengers. They didn't want her to be in danger, and she's really now, like, this is the first time out of all the stuff that they've been through so far, this is the time where she really appreciates where they were coming from and why they were so against her joining the Moon Messengers. And the danger involved and all that.
Yeah. I think the contemplation comes to a head and then resolves when you think about how distant you've been from the world on the ground, and how in Odok, being on the ground was so restrictive. It was walking around the branches, it was the lifts, and the working in the store and being enclosed, and how free you felt when you started flying. And how being as a Moon Messenger allowed you to be free and to fly above the forest and be out and around. But in the last 3 weeks, you feel like you've learnt a lot being in the Bristley Woods than you have being above the Bristley Woods.
Yes, agreed.
And I think there's a sort of comfort in that as well. You kind of look back and feel that you've grown a lot the last few weeks.
Oh, definitely. Well, she thinks, her mind would sort of go to Balthazar and to Ludson, and to think, if she had spent her entire time above the woods, which so many bats and birds do, she would never have met her two greatest friends, and that's a very heartening thing for her to remember, that like she has wonderful friends who care about her very much, and that she cares about them.
So I think with that note, you guys, you have your breather as well, so you're able to restore 1 dice up 1 size.
I will restore. I think I will. For narrative purposes, I'll restore my willpower.
So what do you guys want to do next? This is us kind of like wrapping up, so to speak. What kind of what's the next plan you want to do? What's the next thing that's on the agenda?
Well, so the triangle that little cultit marked for us is a place where Chipper keeps her like ledger book.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Assumed
believe
where they
that's
would
what
be.
we were going to go, like, to see who this
That was it, yeah.
Yeep-paw is.
Deep grain paw.
Yeep-Green...
Yeah.
Yeep... Yeep-paw. Yeep-Green-paw.
Actually freezed.
Or to just kind of find more information about what she's been doing.
Mm.
Or we can follow the tracks which apparently go to Lala's dock and maybe
And
find
directly
the
to
Iron
the
Beetle,
beetle.
and see what she's doing right now. So I guess it
Mm.
depends, what we want to focus on.
I mean, I feel like
'Cause-
all information is good in, probably helping inform. I feel like this would be Lutzon's opinion, is that, like, the more we can find out before we get into a scuffle, the better, maybe. But
That's
depending
true.
on why they're going to Lala's dock is, like, that could be time pending, or like time, what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
That candle is burning.
the candle's
Yeah.
burning, like pressure, there's like a time pressure on that one.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
true.
because there's this whole thing of... Because she apparently has some sway over or working with these red bandana folk
Mhm.
from the
Mm.
teeth. She could be going to Lala's dock because it's a dock. She could be going to embark a thing to take it to the Stone Fangs.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a good point. I didn't think about that.
So yeah, it's kind of like we could catch them there, but chances are they're probably already gone, considering the beetle moves relatively fast. But then the tracks were recent, weren't they, actually?
Well, it was like a few days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
a
weren't,
few
They
days.
weren't that old, yeah.
I think I'm just
so
because
they're
obviously our
probably
break
at
took
Lala's
longer
dock.
than we actually have. Like the passage of time hasn't actually been that long since we ran into the
Balthazar.
beetle, right?
I want you to make a cunning roll for me.
Ooh.
Oh.
I just want something. I think this
Can
is
you tag anything?
Okay, can I tag anything or no? I'm just straight rolling.
just roll straight. This is just for me.
Oh no.
This is the sort of thing I thought. You have a sudden. You're kind of looking over these options and discussing with Pipistrel and Lutzen, and you have a flash of tactical inspiration where you're putting these pieces together, and you think, "Hang on, the tracks are as old as it would have taken." How do I phrase this? This is Balthazar struggling, not me. Essentially, you get the feeling that the beetle moves slower than you can walk. The reason why the tracks are a few days old is because you spent time in Aspen Grace. If you had directly
So we-
followed cross country, you could have caught up.
I suppose it's missing
man.
legs, and they don't
So
really know how to
maybe
properly work it.
these
True.
tracks might be a few days old,
But it doesn't mean
but
that
maybe the beetle's at the dock. Maybe the beetle's only a day ahead. Like, you don't know. You could be close.
Yeah, I think at that Balthazar will kind of realize that, especially thinking back to, because I think he was the one who smashed one of the legs with his hammer.
Yeah.
Did.
So I think
I like to think Balthazar has like a "that's so Raven" moment. Like his eyes just kind of like dilate. And just, like, he just like his jaw hits the floor.
but yeah, he'll say basically point that out. Maybe we're not as far behind as we thought. This thing is so slow. We might be able to catch it at Lala's dock. And think about it. If we know where Chipper's secret hideout is with the ledger, if she gets away, it's very likely that's where we will find her.
Oh, Balthazar with those strokes of brilliance.
That's very, very true, Balthazar. Yeah.
I think Pip would sort of nod in sort of fervent agreement to Balthazar's words.
Well, then it's decided. Let's make our way to Lala's dock as fast as we can.
Agreed.
Let's do it. Let's get this beetle back. Get it back in
Lala's
our
dock
hands.
is maybe, if you travelled fast, you could make it to Lala's dock by maybe like late night. You could make it in the same day.
Wow.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I think so.
If you
I
picked
think
up
so.
sticks and hiked. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're going to end today's session with
Oh.
you guys hiking towards Lala's dock as fast as you can. You don't rest. You still bear the some signs of the violence you from your fight in Bramblefork. but your clothes are washed, you're feeling refreshed, and you move downhill towards Lallas Dock. That isn't the end of what we're doing here, because we have got a fortune to show off.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Da 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 da. So this is the card. Look how pretty it is.
Gorgeous. The pattern is beautiful.
It is.
Right click. Flip card.
Tell me more, tell me more.
Ooh.
Blam. Today's theme was work. The vice is sloth, and the virtue is diligence. I'm also going to say a little bit about the scene as well, the fortune, because it's from the thing. So I've got like my own encounter notes about this. So your fortune, how fast does a candle burn? This was all about the conflict having a really quick, clear solution, and if you didn't nip it in the bud, the conflict would just get worse and worse. Dipping between bursts of action or like resting on your heels to see what happens only makes the situation worse. You have to choose a path and go for it. And yeah, it was interesting to see what you did.
Yeah, interesting.
So let's start with Balthazar, who could be described as the instigator of this drama for plunging headlong into a trap. How do you think Balthazar's actions, or what do you think Balthazar's actions were more close to? Like Vice, Virtue. We've got on Vice's side tags like Ponder, Unwind, Ease, Expedite, Pause, things that work with Sloth.
Yeah,
and then
well,
we've got... Yeah.
I think his would have been diligence, especially the push. Like guide. He was the one who basically said we're getting out of here. The pushing with he was also kind of the, because of his particular positioning, probably the fact that he ate that, or not ate, but he kind of nommed the lizard a little bit.
Yeah.
He was kind of the one facilitating where everybody was focusing on him.
I'd say that's also maneuver. I feel like you very much maneuvered the situation.
Yeah,
and
I
you were
guess
smart
especially
about
when
it.
in a surprising twist. Because I did what? Because I didn't know that the lizard was actually going to join the fray initially. Because my plan was to, regardless of the ferret, go for the lizard because he looked like the boss. And he was gonna. Balthazar was gonna say like he was gonna. I wanted him to like allude to chess and be like, "Why go for the pawn when you can fell the king?" And go for the lizard.
God.
Because Toads definitely play chess. It's one of their favorite games. But yeah, when the lizard came to me, I'm just like, good. That's what I wanted.
So I feel like you were on the same page as me, so I think it's worth just saying out loud, but if you had killed or incapacitated the lizard, everyone else would have fled.
Yeah, I presumed. And honestly, that's what Balthi wanted to do, but then I also wanted him to, like, missile the lizard. I really wanted him to missile the lizard. But I'm kind of glad that like force of will still managed to end the encounter regardless.
So I think you move into diligence. You were aware of your friends, your allies, and you did what needed to be done for everyone. So I think you move into virtue. Yeah.
So I didn't end up using my auto stuff because that one time when I could, I actually I sort of narratively like that he gets like stabbed because I wanted to then pull the lizard in anyway. So, and it was kind of just like, well, I don't care that I got stabbed. I'm gonna eat you. I'm gonna eat all of you. Yeah, I did end up using it, but I finally remember that it's actually there.
I'll keep reminding you guys, but it's fine that you didn't use it because these boons are all about helping you better roleplay the character you want your character to be. So I feel like it gave you the backup to try and do things that you thought were cool because you knew that you could force it a little bit. You could push it to have your character be cool.
Yeah, I would have used it for like I when I realized that I want to missile launch gulp missile. It's a Pokemon move. Missile launch this dang lizard I kind of decided that I'm gonna keep that in my pocket in case anything goes wrong. And then even with the like frog at the end, I'm just like, okay, I can definitely make this work, even if I fail. But I rolled okay. So
Okay. Moving backwards on our list, Lutzen, you were virtuous before. How would you consider your actions in regards to these themes?
I think it was a blend. I think it was neutral because I feel like there was diligence in rushing in and acting, but it didn't pay off in the way that he would have, kind of preferred to resolve a conflict. But at the same time, he kind of held back to see what was going on. Like he wasn't. He was kind of shell shocked and took a moment. So I think it's
feel like
neutral.
you both considered what was going to happen, and then you assisted Pipistrel when things seemed dire. So I think you are balanced.
Yeah. I don't think it pushes either way, really.
So I'm going to do that. And then Pipistrel, how do you feel you were?
Let me have a little think thought because I am currently still in balance, I believe.
Yes.
And I think I think in a way I was quite. I think I could say I was sort of in a similar position to Ludson where I did, and this is more just because of the kind of character the Pipistrel is. But she did she watched and waited for her opportunities. But then when she acted to try and help her friends as best as she could, like going for the frog to try and stop the frog from shooting Balthazar. But then obviously that kind of got turned around because then the rat jumped on her, and then she had to try and save herself, and that was all very, reactive and quick paced. So I feel like I might still also be in balance for this one.
I'd agree. I feel like I'm just trying to find the words. I feel like you did evaluate. You evaluated like the benefits of what was going to happen. And you were aware of your other people, but you did have your moments where you paused. I mean, like, for example, like slowing, waiting, I'd say tied to your actions for like waiting to see what Balthazar did, to see that if everyone left the building, to see that sort of thing. It felt like you were definitely balanced.
Yeah, I think so.
Right, Balthazar, you are virtuous. You have an auto success for someone else on another roll. Lutzen, you are balanced. You are able to ask me a question about an action and its consequences, and I will give you an honest answer. And Pipistrel, you are also balanced. Yeah, this has been a very exciting session.
It's been something.
That took such a turn. I was not expecting. Like I knew because we've had fights before, but like that was that one felt like the first one where like that could have gone so badly wrong. Because I felt like we went into that already quite outmatched and outgunned because it was a ferret and 3 other beasts with weapons, and we were taken unawares, Yeah.
I mean, we knew exactly what's gonna happen, but some of us really wanted to see that beetle.
Yeah.
Lutzen, I'm just really sorry about Lutzen's new trauma. This poor rat is
okay.
Break.
I didn't really think it through, honestly, in like doing the action, but like it made sense for him to just charge in blind almost. And
no, I feel like it's in the worst way. This made the most sense because it is something Lutzen would do, and this is something that would happen in the story.
It was like
and
duty
really
to save
cool.
his friend.
Yeah.
But it's also like the realization of that has repercussions, and it's like a very like obvious like, harm is not good necessarily. I mean, it's not good in any way. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
No, I understand what you're saying. Like, I think it feels very on brand for Ludson to have really reacted in that situation to help his friend. But
it's like all he could do. It's all he had, really.
Exactly.
Was all.
But the consequences of it are quite
dire.
Yeah, like, I don't think any of them particularly. To be fair, what I think is interesting is out of all of the characters who could have accidentally killed another beast, or like not with the intent to kill another beast, but did actually kill another beast, I didn't think Ludson would be the first to do it.
Nope.
I thought it would be Balthazar.
Blood.
and I mean that just because Balthazar is already a trained, trained soldier, Yeah, exactly. So like the fact that it was Ludson, I'm like, oh my god, my poor disaster rat.
Yep. Disaster rat.
You know,
Disaster rat.
You heard of Danger Mouse, now here for Disaster Rat.
Disaster rat.
I mean, disaster rat would be a good skill for you to learn.
I thought, you know what?
It's gonna be like Jan's I Am Worm, or like the Aspiring Mud Fury, Never Underestimate a Toad, where I feel like it's just like, it's both very specific, but can be applied very broadly, if that makes sense.
it's like, it's the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we should say, we should reintroduce ourselves and then say goodbye.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Introduce.
Okay. I am Brian. I have been your narrator today. I tell stories. I run Dungeons of a Dime. You can get Vice and Virtue, the whole thing that we were playing today, on the Roll20 Marketplace. You can go to my fancy store and pre-order the book. Working on Scurry, which is a Beast Fables role-playing system. That's happening. See all the cool artwork that all four of us are making. If you go to the DOAD Twitter and just like poke some stuff, it's all just popping up. And yeah, I'm generally just having a good day.
Nice.
It's good.
But do you want to say some words?
Was that to me? Because I'm starting to break up a little bit. The
Oh.
internet. I mean.
Yeah, Vir, do your thing.
Pibis and Pieps, everybody. I have been Ver. My internet is starting to break up, and I hope that it's not terrible for everyone else. You can find me on social media. Verface at Twitter, Sticks and Sharks at Tumblr. You can also support me on Patreon, also at Verface. I don't really have anything else to plug because our Kickstarter ended last week, and it ended fabulously. Thank you, everybody, for your support. And if you're interested in comics by me and other indie Scottish comic creators, you can go to the Kindry Press site and pre-order some of the comics, or all of the comics, or any of the comics that we kickstarted, and they will be dispatched after the Kickstarter is fulfilled, so that might take a little bit of time. But I would recommend it nonetheless if you missed the Kickstarter and want to enjoy some wonderful, wonderful stories from indie comic Scottish artists. Thank you very much, Brian, for having me. Thank you very much, Atlanta, and I almost said Lutson and Fraser.
You're welcome.
You guys are always such delightful co-players. Thanks for letting Balthazar just scream a lot this week and eat lizards. That was great. Thank you.
Atlanta, please reintroduce yourself.
Hello. I am a sad leaf today, otherwise known as Alpaca Scribbles on Twitter, Alpaca Scribbles on Instagram, and general social media places. I mean, I have very little to say this week. That was a really interesting session. That was a much more dramatic battle than I was expecting. But yeah, Brian, thank you for a wonderful game. It's throwing all the curveballs. It's so fun. Fraser, Ver, you're both wonderful. I love playing with you guys. It's great. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to next week and seeing where we end up and what's going to happen.
Well, Lala Stock, that's the impression.
Yeah. See what happens.
And leaving port, because you're the last one. Fraser, please say hello.
Hello. I have been Fraser as the Disaster Rat, Lutson. And yeah, you can find me on the internet, on Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon at lostastronaut. You can support me there through Patreon, as I said, at patreon.com/lostastronaut. I'm distracted. Lutson killed something and I wasn't expecting it.
Fraser is as traumatized as Lutson.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I mean, I made the choices, and things happen. It's
Choices
just
It's that tweet where it's like sowing. Haha, yeah, this is so great. Reaping. No, fuck, why?
yeah, very much that. Go for the squishy bits. No, not those ones.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
thank you
real.
everyone for all of that. Thank you for Brian for running and hosting and building all of this, or everyone for building all of this. And thank you, Atlanta and Vera, for being such wonderful players. And taking care of little Lutzen in this post chaos scene. It's been a good episode. I'm excited to see what the hell happens next.
Oh my god, I know, right?
I am excited.
Terrified.
And as a little final question for my players, did you guys enjoy violent encounters? Do you think you want more chaos like this? What kind of vibe do you want to go for in the future?
I like fighting but I play a knight. He's well adjusted to violence and he's seen death, so.
Sorry, Fraser, you go ahead.
Okay. No, and you go. I'm just spluttering.
I was gonna say like that was like we've had really fun encounters before. Like we've had like there was the owl. We've had a run-in with a polecat at one point. Obviously there was the fire, which was not exactly like a battle per se, but was a very high.
It was very action.
Yeah, very action-oriented scene. This was like. I really liked this because this felt like stakes were high. Beasts were going to die if we didn't react appropriately, and like I don't know, our first actual violence. Yeah. I'm like kind of like I'm not gonna say I loved it. I'm not because that's a bit weird, but like more like
that's what I said.
Sorry, I not to imply that you're weird at all, but it's very unfair of me. But like it was definitely like. Taking a moment to actually consider like this is our first real taste of like how dangerous this world can be, and I really liked that. I think that was really fun and really interesting. Big fan. And Fraser, thoughts? Go for it.
I think Lutzen was unprepared, but that's just how he is. So I think it's more of like a problem solving around combat, but it was very like high stakes, and that's that's where things happen. Big changes, big swings.
We'll keep stirring the pot. Okay. Well, that's all from us. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. Yeah. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So we shall. Bye-bye.